Alright everyone, thank you for returning again for another Gran Turismo 7 race spotlight. Today, round 4 of the 2023 Nations Cup World Series. It'll be Group 4 cars at Lago Maggiore. That's 10 laps, no stops, a straight sprint to the finish on hard tires. Even though Group 4 is one of my less favorite formats, I'm still excited to participate, so let's get on into what I've brought you today. For time to qualify, we had 6 minutes. This was more than enough time to safely run an out lap and 2 hot laps. I exit the pits as late as I feel comfortable and try to leave myself some room to have a clean run for at least my first validated lap, but it won't shape out that way. It became quickly apparent that Harrison Ford had a slower pace, and I'm gaining uncomfortably fast. I'll try to find my way around him into turns 14 and 15, but I'll have no such luck. Finally, I do pass him into turn 6 of lap 3, but in my haste to make up a little extra time, I'll pick up a penalty at turn 16, invalidating my final lap. Qualifying puts me in P9, but hopefully with some clever driving, I can work a miracle. And it's 3, 2, 1, start, as we begin down the track for this 10-lap sprint. What is the first corner going to look like, though? This track is rather notorious for overzealous attacks into turn 1 and impatience at turn 2. Fortunately, turns 1 and subsequently 2 fly by without any carnage. Still in lap 1, overall things settle in rather quickly. Group 4 cars don't seem to benefit a whole hell of a lot from slipstreaming, so this kind of happens naturally. Big gains in time are going to have to come from strong and consistent execution of your line. I'm going to get right up on the bumper of Perluche, but the timing upon meeting him doesn't allow me to maximize the use of my speed by going around him, so I settle for a bump draft to keep up the pace. And it's looking like I may have been able to attempt an overtake into turn 11, but I didn't want to risk losing time and separating ourselves from the leaders, so I settle for a second bump and I follow him through the corner. Woodsville is going to massively overdrive the final corner, handing a few of us a position in the rounding out of lap 1. But he does seem to recover fairly well as he slotted in right behind us. Jumping ahead to the end of the lap, Perluche is going to brake a little early here, and I'm going to make contact. Luckily, nothing gets ugly, but this does put Woodsville squarely in my rearview mirror. It only takes a moment, however, to get caught back up, though, because as we're going to see, Don Calzone is going to be a hindrance and slowing traffic behind him for longer than I care to admit. A little bit of a slipstream to help me out here, not much. Can I get alongside P7? It doesn't quite look like it's going to happen, and here comes Woodsville challenging us both for the position. I mean, just watch what he does here. It's quite the move. He stays wide and then comes in and just slots himself right between the two of us before just passing us both by and sailing away with the position. Fair play to him, great move. I'm finally going to get a move on Perluche here, though I do get a bit hard into the turn. He's going to try for a switcheroo, but going to come back a bit too wide, make small contact with me. I guess it's just enough to unsettle his car, and it's going to pull him back in position. Exactly 1 lap later, we're once again going to say goodbye to Woodsville after he runs it wide through turn 5. I guess fearless daring can only get you so far without consistency to back it up. I'd say if this guy ever learns where the brake pedal is, though, we're all going to have a challenge on our hands. Continuing on up the hill through the rhythm section, I'll end up clipping the tiniest portion of the track bounds and pick up a half-second penalty, but due to my proximity to the line, the penalty line being just a little further up here, I won't serve it until a lap later, right after having just managed to pass Don Calzone. Luckily, it's just 1 position lost, dangerously close to 2 as we come down the hill, but I'll just manage to keep it. Going into turns 15 and 16, I'm going to get massively held up by the Don of Calzone once again. At this point, I think it's apparent that this section is not his strong suit, so barring an opportunity to pass somewhere else, I may have to try to set myself up for one here in the next lap. All the way back around, and I still haven't found a way past, so I attempt to set myself up for an attack on the inside. But I'm overeager to finally be passed, carry way too much speed in the corner, and go off course. I'll sheepishly steer myself back onto the track and be forced to hand over position to the driver behind. A lap later, once more through the final sector of the course, the space that seemed to be making or breaking each of our laps, I'll find myself getting an excellent run up to the line and on the path to challenge Mad Mike for my seat back. He's going to get a little shaky here, unsure if he wants to go defensive and put his bumper to mine going into a heavy braking zone or keep the race line. Ultimately, he decides to take the outside, and I'm able to get the move done. This additionally gives me the optimal position for the hairpin that immediately follows, knock out the hairpin, and prepare for another attempt at the Donegal zone. Finally, we cut through the Don's thin, flaky exterior up the hill of the back straight. I fly by, steal the position, and make good my escape by the end of the lap. Now, at this point, the race is barreling towards a close. It's the start of lap 9, it's not looking good for a top 5 finish. P5 is 3 seconds ahead. I've only got maybe a lap and a half to close the gap. The rest to actually get the move done, and these thoughts are all feeling more optimistic than practical, but you gotta try. We've reached the beginning of the end. I have managed to knock a half second off of him, but this pace just ain't gonna cut it. He's gonna have to make a mistake in a big way for me to have any hope. But as we come around the corner for the finish, you can see that I was absolutely on the pace for that lap, bringing the gap down by another 1.2 seconds roundabout, but it just wasn't enough. So that's bringing it home for a P6. Finishing in 6th with 120 points, not bad. And honestly, if I had finished in the top 5, I probably would have just taken that for the round, but I knew I could perform better than this. I just had to hope that the quality of the lobby wasn't going to thin out, and thus the points with it. Alrighty, on to Stint 2's qualifying. I didn't mean to pull out as early as I did. I had intended on chilling on the paddock for about a minute. I didn't realize I was resting my foot on the gas, so I was out on the field, and here we go. I was going to just run with it, but I picked up a penalty through the S section of Sector 2, and as I'd learned from the previous race, I wasn't going to be able to serve it until the next lap. Salvaging what's left of my time, I returned to the paddock and try again. Honestly, I had forgotten until just that moment that you could do that, so keep this one in your back pocket if you didn't know. As it turns out, I could have waited in the pits for quite a long time and not have had any worries. Of course, it's not hard to do the math and see that, it's just time feels like it's slipping between your fingertips when in these situations, so you have a tendency to bug out and just go, go, go. But yeah, look at all this open air we've got here. I feel like I put it to good use too. The first time I'll put down is a 207.2, just 2/10 off of pole, and then coming out of the final turn, headed for the line. I'm gonna flirt with disaster here, just abusing the absolute shit out of the track borders, but it pays off big, and I come over the line with a 206.6. Let's go, 3/10 ahead for pole position. I'm just messing with you. We're not gonna do that again. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So, points on offer here are not as good as last race, coming down about 14%, which makes a second place finish equivalent to my previous 6th. That's high pressure to make sure I take full advantage of this P1 start. For the most part, I'm going to do that. Lap 1 is looking good, the trail of cars behind me stays fairly tight and close behind, but like a few times prior, I'm going to drop the ball through Sector 4, not taking the corners like you should, just all kinds of wonky as I'm not quite feeling fully settled in yet. This will allow Bringles behind me to really close that gap and challenge me down the straight. Not having left myself an option, I'll have to give up the position to Bringles, who had done a great job staying on my tail. He's not going to keep the position for too long though. I'll get an attempt at him here, but that's a no-go. What's going to do it is he'll take himself wide through Sector 4, of course it's Sector 4, on lap 4, pick up a small penalty, and I'll slip past him at the next penalty line. However, here unfortunately is where things get sad. Up to this point we've had some nice exchanges and I found the back and forth to be exciting, but Bringles isn't having fun, as you just heard. The race devolves into this mass of horns at a few choice places until it completely breaks down here. You truly hate to see it. You really do. When it's good, let it be good. I would have gladly taken second place finish here for more of how it was playing out before, but I guess it is what it is. Now, hold up. Don't be like me here, right here, what you're about to see, and let your frustration blind you to everything in front of you, and then also leave you not accounting for dirty tires being a thing. You know, that dirt on your tires that you just got. Fortunately, I don't hit the guy with enough force to ruin his day, and I'm gonna just kind of drag the car behind me the rest of the way over the line to finish last. Hey, it was over. Let everyone else get what points they can. I could obviously do this, so let's give this another go. I misclicked a button somewhere because I thought I had started recording for the qualification round, but turns out I had not. So we're jumping right into this one. I did make a small improvement on my time though, with a 2:06.5, placing me on pole once more. We're gonna cover this last race in 3 sections, sort of a beginning, middle, and end, if you will. First, the start. And there's the start. The middle, the gap to P2 hangs out here, average of 4 seconds for about a third of the race. And the end. The end. The gap climbs to 6.5 seconds, and finally after 3 hours, I can close out the round. Fortunately, the points on offer here were better than the previous race, so I didn't miss out. Better by 2 points, but better all the same. Here's the only less informative screenshot I got, because I'm a straight up professional, and the standings as they are, it's of the domestic board. It's not as exciting as that round 1 finish, but I've had to miss a lot of opportunities with my work cycle. Speaking of, I won't be able to participate in rounds 5 or 6, and we'll have to take round 7 as my last attempt at glory. Work scheduling just isn't going to allow for it. So let's hope for a great showing, as that's all that will be left for the Nation Series. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. You're beautiful for doing so. Likes and comments are much appreciated, and subscribe if you think this pet project of mine has got any potential for at least bringing you a little entertainment. So bye for now.